What is up? This is Release Rotation. I'm your host, John W. Snyder. It's Monday, June 8th, 9:45 p.m., California time. So last week I recorded a podcast and I said I was going to do a 10 for 10 for 10. 10 topics, 10 minutes, 10 days in a row. I do this to myself all the time. I think I have all the time in the world to do this, considering I have a 40-hour-a-week job elsewhere. I have 2 kids and a wife. I always think that I have way more time than I actually do and think that I can actually put together something like that or do something like that. And obviously I can't. My buddy Mike called me out on it, rightfully so, because I haven't done one since I did the first one. So, scratching that, obviously, because I get overzealous and I try to do too much, too fast, too quick when it comes to this, because I get excited about it and then, which I still am, obviously, but I thought I would do it. But I am still going to go through the cards, because if you listen to last week, I pulled 10 cards out of these things called, it's basically an episode deck. They're pod decks that I bought. They're pretty cool. Poddecks.com. This isn't like a ad or anything, but if you have a podcast, check it out. Poddecks.com. And it gives you some good ideas, some interview questions, that kind of thing. And so I pulled some cards out of their episode deck. And so I'm still going to go through those, so I'm going to do that at the end. You know, if you've listened to my podcast before, I always talk about sports, and then I get into some type of life stuff. And so that's what I'm going to stick to, because I like doing that. It's fun, and I feel like you guys enjoy it, whoever listens to this. So we'll stick with that. And that's the thing. I try to stick to sports as much as I can. And life stuff. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world with COVID and with Black Lives Matter, and also the fact that it's an election year for a president. I will never talk politics on here. So if that's what you're here for, you might as well leave, because I'm not doing that. It's not what this is about. Politics, I feel, there's always a need for them, and they're great to discuss, but I'm also not that smart when it comes to politics, so I don't really like to talk about things that I don't know about or debate things I don't know about. So I'm not going to do that here. But I'm sure you can find podcasts elsewhere that will talk about those things. But here I want to be positive, and no matter what I talk about with politics, some people are going to see it positive and some people are going to see it negative. And that's the other reason I don't really want to talk about it. Same with COVID and election year. Like, there's people who listen to this podcast who are on both sides when it comes to everything and political. And so I'm not going to do that here. I want to bring people together. I don't want to divide people. There's enough division in the world. The only dividing here will be sports fans. So I hope that you guys are safe and well. I hope that if you're listening to this, that you are doing things that you should be doing the way you're supposed to be doing them. You can take that however you want. I don't know why I thought that was funny. So let's just get into it, right? Sports. There's been a lot going on in the last week with the sports I care about. The first thing was the NCAA on Friday has given my Oklahoma State Cowboy basketball team a 1-year NCAA tournament ban, and then banned from the tournaments, NCAA, NIT, whatever it might be, and then also scholarships. And the bummer is it was this associate head coach, Lamont Evans, who was sentenced in June of 2019 for 3 months for accepting somewhere between like $18,000 and $22,000 in bribes to get players not to go to South Carolina and go to Oklahoma State, to certain agents and financial advisors also. This happened in like 2017, right? So 2016-17 season, not even under Mike Boynton. It was under Brad Underwood, who is now the coach at Illinois. He was at Oklahoma State for 1 year. I just don't get the NCAA. I think the NCAA is a joke. I think the NCAA is not there for the student athlete at all. You can just look up, just Google NCAA like unfair to athletes, and there will be thousands of stories of how stupid the NCAA is. And obviously I'm biased, but man, this guy was in it all for himself. Oklahoma State did not benefit from any of it. The FBI even said that Oklahoma State was a victim in this. And Oklahoma State gets banned for postseason play this year when these like incoming freshmen were like 15 years old when this happened. Not even a part of the program. It's so aggravating. And if you're just a college fan or athlete or coach, like, it doesn't like take away if you're an OU fan, because my Twitter blew up on Friday when I was tweeting stuff about it from OU fans. And like, take away being an OU fan and just read the story and figure it out for yourself. The same with, what it looks like for Oklahoma State, because should not have happened. Not that bad. Take a few scholarships away, but don't punish kids who weren't even there. Like, these kids, there's not one player on this roster for the 2021 season that was even at Oklahoma State at the time. And they get punished for something that was done by some stupid associate head coach 4 years ago under a completely different head coach. Like, it's such a joke. So I don't know. And the other thing, they're saying it's a level 1 violation, and it's the only one that Oklahoma State had. Well, Kansas has 5 level 1 violations that the NCAA hasn't decided on yet. So if you're Kansas, Louisville, Arizona, these other schools that are looking at some infractions, you should be scared, because Oklahoma State's deal should not have happened at all. They shouldn't, like, how hard they came down on Oklahoma State. So just as a fan, like, this isn't good for the NCAA. It's a joke. So we'll see what happens with those other schools. But I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully soon. It's just so crazy. And like, Oklahoma State, as soon as they found out, they waited for all the facts and everything to come out, and they fired the guy 2 days after he was arrested. So it just doesn't make any sense. But Oklahoma State is going to appeal it. And the way the NCAA goes, they probably won't give it to them. They'll probably say, no, this is what it is, too bad, which is such a bummer. And the other thing on top of this, I love Mike Boynton. He's talked to all his players. He let them know before it came out in the media. And he was asked about incoming freshmen and whatever, and he told them that whatever's best for the player. So whether it's they need to transfer, go to the G League, or stay at Oklahoma State, Mike Boynton is going to support that player's decision, which I love. So it's another reason I'm a Mike Boynton fan. Obviously, as a fan of a school, you want more wins, and it looked like they were going to get some more wins this year, but we'll see. Oklahoma State is going to appeal it. We'll see what happens, however long that takes. But just insane. Anyways, I'm going to move on because every time I think about it and talk about it, I get mad, which I shouldn't. It's just sports, right? But those are things I'm passionate about. The other big thing that happened in the sports world is the announcement of the NBA coming back. If all goes well and we don't have to shut down the country again and whatever, July 31st is going to be the hopeful start date for the NBA to finish the season. So July 31st through October 12th would be the last game for the finals, which, hey, I don't care at this point. At first I was like, I want, there's not going to be any fans, maybe family. That's it. That's going to be at Disney World, which is pretty cool on the Disney World campus. So that'll be interesting in their little bubble playing basketball. And at first I was like, I want fans, it's not the same. But now at this point, after not having sports since mid-March or whenever it was, I don't care anymore. Just give us some sports. I know we've had golf and NASCAR, that kind of thing, but I'm excited to have some NBA back. There's going to be 22 teams because they're going to play a few season games and before the postseason so they can figure out seeding for those teams vying for the 8 seed. Because there were some teams, especially in the Western Conference, that could have bumped up to that 8 seed. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun, right? Who cares? Basketball will be back, hopefully. So at Disney World, it's going to be cool. They are going to have testing and, that kind of thing, and they'll stay safe because of COVID. So that's awesome. It's going to be super, super fun, I think, because it's basketball. The playoffs will be the same. Once they get those 16 teams set, it's not going to change any. The thing this does push, though, is like the NBA lottery. So now if the games do start on July 31st, the lottery is going to be August 25th. The NBA draft is going to be October 15th. And then, and that's usually when the season gets going, like mid to late October is when the NBA season usually starts. And so now the fact that it's going to end, at the latest October 12th, they're going to have to push the 2021 season start date. And so I'm going through the NBA website and it says the 2021 NBA regular season would likely begin on December 1st. So, hey, it's back. I hope this means NFL's back. But I know that the MLB is also, I think they decided on some stuff or they proposed some more stuff today. I saw something like 70 games or 72 games for Major League Baseball when they usually play like 162 or something like that. But, we're getting back. People are going back to work. Things are opening. And so that's a good thing. People need to work. And so I'm excited about that. But I'm excited about sports coming back because, that's usually what I like to talk about on here. And it's been really boring. There's not been anything to talk about. So NBA July 31st is the tentative start date. We'll be right back after this break. All right. We are back. So again, I'll talk about sports, go to a little break, and I'm going to come back, and I usually talk about life stuff, what I'm doing. I am building a website right now for my podcast. It's great. It's coming along. And so I'm hoping by the end of June, it'll be live just because I want to get some more podcast episodes under my belt. And so end of June, we will go live with that website. So I'm looking forward to that. But so I was talking earlier about these pod decks, right? So I pulled this one for today, and it's 4 things you might not know about me. So let's start with number 1, because number 1's probably the funniest. Now that I think about it, I'll come back to that one. So 4 things about me that you probably don't know. Now, if you're my friend or family listening to this, you've probably heard some of these stories, and you probably know this. But if you don't know me, this is my life. I'm going to start with the one to brag about. When I was in elementary school, I went to the Oklahoma State Spelling Bee twice. I went in 2nd grade and 5th grade. Always good at spelling, good at English and everything. And so I went to the spelling bee. They would always send 2 kids from each grade. And I don't know about you if you've ever been involved in a spelling bee at school or whatever, but I did go to a somewhat small school. I graduated high school with 47, and I was at the same school from kindergarten through 12th grade. But 1st through 6th grade, when you had this spelling bee, there's always that one kid who goes every year, no matter what. And that kid's name was Bernie George. He went on to go to MIT, no big deal. But in 2nd and 5th grade, I got to join him at the state spelling bee. I was stoked. One, cool thing. The other awesome thing about that is I got a day out of school. So I got to miss school to go to the state spelling bee. It's so funny. I don't really remember the 5th grade one, but the 2nd grade one I think just stuck in my memory banks because I made it through like 2 rounds. Again, 2nd grade, so I'm whatever age I am at this time, 7, 8, whatever. It's my turn. I get the word always. Always. ALLWAYS. Always. Sorry, John, that's incorrect. Bummer. They tell me it's ALWAYS. There's not 2 L's. There's 1. Man, I'm bummed. Whatever. I get a day out of school. That was the first thing about me that you may not know. I can spell. Another thing about me, I don't remember what grade I was in. It could have been around the same time, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. So my mom plays the piano. She can read music, sit down at any piano, read music, play music. It's amazing. I love it. Growing up, we always had a piano in the house, and my mom would play the piano. And she still does to this day, and she's great at it. And I love listening to it. Growing up as a kid, I can remember my dad and I watching Monday Night Football. And, my mom would watch a little bit, but then she'd go to the back of the house where the piano was and sit down and play the piano. And those were amazing childhood memories. Loved it. My grandpa, my mom's dad, he could sit down and play the piano by ear. He could hear something on the TV, be like, I think I can play that. Go over to the piano and play it. Now, that's great. So my mom and my grandpa is the joke. And my brother's pretty musical too. My dad, no, can't sing, can't play any instruments. That's where I get it from. So my mom and my grandpa, though, for sure, musically inclined when it comes to the piano. So my mom and dad are like, hey, we signed you up for piano lessons. First off, I did not want to do piano lessons at all. I was 7 or 8. I wanted to play with my friends. Took an hour out of my week. When you're a kid, an hour out of a week it's a huge part of your life. So our neighbor on the block gave piano lessons. So I took piano lessons. I mean, it felt like 5 years, but it was probably realistically like 6 months, something like that. But play the piano, go to these piano lessons. And in those 6 months, I remember one song I learned how to play. Well, technically, maybe 3. Happy Birthday, Silent Night, and Pop Goes the Weasel. It took me, and I really couldn't play Happy Birthday or Silent Night, but for some reason I could play Pop Goes the Weasel. Whatever. I'm playing, doing great, thinking, this is cool. 6 months in, piano teacher calls my parents and say, hey, you know, giving John lessons, this is great, but I have to be honest with you guys. You guys are wasting your money. He has no rhythm. He can't find the beat anywhere. He can't keep beat, has no rhythm. You guys are wasting your money. And at this time, I think my parents kind of knew that because I couldn't sing on key, still can't. I still can't clap on beat. So if there's a song and someone says, oh, do you hear the beat? I mean, I might hear it, but I can't clap on it. So no rhythm at all. So that's the second thing you don't know about me. Maybe you do, but I suck at music. I like listening to it, but I can't sing or play anything. Another thing about me is I failed college algebra twice. So as a journalism major, I had to take college algebra and statistics. So the first time I take college algebra, there's like 2 or 3 weeks left in the class, and I have a really low F. Like the teacher's like, there's really no way you can rebound from this to even get a D. Because I'm like, D stands for degree at this point, because I know I'm horrible at math. Like when I was in high school, I was a senior taking a algebra class with a bunch of sophomores. So I already knew this. My first C in school was in 4th grade. Got a C in 4th grade, and it was in math. I'm not even to algebra at that point, and I get a C in math. So math and music, nope. So I dropped the class with like 3 weeks left because there was no chance. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just take it again next semester and get a tutor. So I take it again next semester. I get a tutor, and I stick it all the way through because I'm on the borderline. If I get like an A on the final, I might get a, whatever, good passing grade. Nope. Got an F. Failed again. So at this point, my counselor realizes that this isn't going to happen. So I don't know what math class she got me in, but basically it was like, hey, here's the math class we got you in. You need to take this, da-da-da-da. I need to get my transcripts and see what it was called, because I almost feel like it was something called like basic mathematics for teachers or something like that. It wasn't even college algebra. It was something like basic mathematics for teachers. And I got a B in the class because apparently I could add and subtract and divide and multiply and maybe do a little geometry. But hilarious. So I ended up getting a B. Then I took statistics, got a D. I was like, I'm done, which is wild because all my journalism classes, I got A's and B's, but not when it came to math and classes I didn't really care about or were just horrible at. So that's the third thing about me. And then the last thing that I think is the funniest is my sophomore year of high school, second semester. I'm playing basketball at the YMCA, February 2nd. That's right, I remember when it was. February 2nd, 1995. Playing basketball at our local YMCA. Just pick up and running back and forth. Getting a game, playing a game. And there's a guy on the other team who is wearing a Muggsy Bogues jersey. So if you are familiar with who Muggsy Bogues is, played in the NBA, I can't remember his height. He was like 5'2", 5'3", maybe. Muggsy Bogues played for the Charlotte Hornets, maybe 5'3". I could be wrong. Maybe he was 5'5". Anyways, I think he's the shortest player in the NBA, shorter than Spud Webb. Again, this was 95, so most of you people listening to this have no idea who Spud Webb is or Muggsy Bogues. But there's a guy on the other team in a Muggsy Bogues jersey. And I still find this funny to this day because it was a guy in a Muggsy Bogues jersey, but this guy was a little person, which made it even better that he was in a Muggsy Bogues jersey. So I'm playing basketball. He decides to guard me because at this time I'm also a little person in the sense that I'm 4'9". Like I was 4'9" when I got my driver's license. So I'm pushing 4'9" because I haven't gotten my driver's license yet. And playing a game, whatever. I go and shoot a jump shot. And this guy in this Muggsy Bogues jersey, who's inches shorter than me, undercuts me. Doesn't even try to like guard me. Just straight up undercuts me, takes my legs out from under me. I fall backwards, try to catch myself instead of just like rolling, snapped my right wrist. So right then I'm like, I got sick to my stomach and I'm like, something's not right. I can't bend it. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm pretty sure it's broken. And the funny thing too is my mom at this time worked for an orthopedic surgeon in Edmond, Oklahoma. And so my mom, she's like, no, you didn't break it. There's no way. Comes and picks me up, and I'm like, Mom, I'm sick to my stomach. I want to throw up. Like, my wrist hurts so bad. So, okay. And I can't remember I think I slept on it that night. We might have gone to the ER. I don't remember. Sure enough, broken. I'm in a cast for, I think 5 weeks, somewhere right around there. Yeah. And so, whatever, I get out of my cast, sophomore year of high school, playing basketball, break it, get out of my cast, 5 or 6 weeks later, whatever it was at the time. And about 10 to 14 days later, I was really big into inline skating. So this is when the Extreme Games were around before they became the X Games. And they had inline skating. They had Vert and Street. And me and my buddy, Bo Goff, who lived around the block from me, got aggressive inline skates and would go off ramps and try to slide down rails and all this stuff. And so if you're familiar with Edmond, there's this park called Hafer Park. There was a drainage ditch that had a pipe in it. And I'm like, I'm going to grind on this rail, on this pipe. Get up, do it, and fall, and catch myself with my left wrist. I'm like, man, something's up. I don't feel right. I get home, and again, this was 14 days after I got out of my other cast, right? So I get home, and my mom's like, what'd you do? And I'm like, Mom, I think I broke my wrist. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I fell. I think I broke my wrist, but it's my left one. She's adamantly denying it, like, no, you didn't. There's no way, because obviously I just got out of a cast for breaking my right one. There's no way. You know what? Let's sleep. You sleep on it. We'll see. If it still hurts in the morning, we'll go get it x-rayed at doctor's office. Like, okay. Wake up the next morning and I'm like, hey, it still hurts. It's not any better. Like, it's painful to move. Of course, go get x-ray and it's broken. So that was awesome. I broke both of my arms my sophomore year of high school. It's funny too, because I think it was a Sunday. So Monday morning did that. Don't show up to school till later in the day. I get to school and I'm in a cast in my other arm, and all my friends, I think for the most part, thought I was kidding, because like, no, there's no way. So yeah, I was that kid who, I'm just thankful that I didn't break him at the same time. You know, at least I had a little give, a few weeks apart from each other. But man, if you've ever broken a bone, it is not fun. And then if you've ever broken multiple bones, not fun. But having 2 broken arms your sophomore year of high school, ugh, the worst. Anyways, those are 4 things about me. I may have bored you. You may have already turned this off by now, and that's fine. No big deal. But thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you again next week.